Hello everyone, my name is Jordan, also known as Scraps, and today I'm going to be teaching you this synth. It's called Lieutenant Mouse, and you'll see why here in a minute. So let's get to playing the demo. So Lieutenant Mouse can be either a EDM pluck synth or kind of a Birdie Nam Nam build synth, who knows. But it's quite interesting. So let's get to making this patch. What I love to do is I love to create combinators. There are three ways you can create a combinator. You can right click, go to utilities and create a combinator. You can hold down Control and left click to get the same menu. Or what you can do is hit F8 to get the tool window, then just browse to device and then combinator and then drag it out. So inside this combinator, we're going to go to our instruments and create a blank instance of subtractor. I'm going to tackle the modulation, then oscillator 1, oscillator 2, the FM, then the LFO, the mod envelope, filters, and that will be it. And then after it will come mastering and distorting it. So for my first thing to tackle on my modulation section is I'm going to turn my frequency FM to 18. And I'm going to turn the filter frequency all the way up. For my first oscillator, I'm going to change it to a sine wave. I'm going to set it to positive, and I'm going to take it down an octave. For the FM, I'm going to change it to 38. For oscillator 2, make sure it's turned on. Set it to a positive algorithm. Set it to waveform 5. And bring it down an octave. For our LFO, we're going to turn it to sync. We're going to set the rate to 1/8 and the amount to be 127 on our filter frequency. We also want this rising down saw, or the inverted saw. Inverted saw is something else. So this left rising down saw, we're going to change it to that. For our mod envelope, we're going to change it to oscillator 1. And for the amount, leave it at 0. For our filter 1, we're going to change this to, we're going to boost the filter frequency to 84. We're going to turn our keyboard track all the way up. And for our amp envelope, we want our decay to be all the way up, and that should do it. Let's see. For our LFO2, we want to set the rate pretty much all the way down and set it to filter frequency 2 and the amount to be 127. Now the filter frequency 2 isn't on, but it still affects this minorly. So after this, all we need to do is master it and create some distortion. So I'm going to go to my Studio Effects and create an RV7000 Advanced Reverb. I'm going to bring the dry wet and the decay all the way down to 20. 21 should be fine. It's okay if they're not exact. Next, we're going to go to our Studio Effects and create a Line 6 bass amp. Turn it on for the compressor and make the threshold 75. After this, we're going to create 2 pulverizers found in Creative Effects. So for the first pulverizer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the filter to comb. I'm going to set the frequency all the way up. The peak is fine. I'm going to set the tremor frequency about 16%. I'm going to set it to a square wave, and I'm going to bring the rate pretty much all the way to 640 Hertz. Hold shift if you can't get the finite numbers. 646, that's good. I'm also going to turn on spread, and that will do it for the first pulverizer. It creates a subtle distortion. For our second pulverizer, we're going to do the same thing, set it to cone, leave the frequency and peak where it is, and for the amount to tremor, tremor to frequency is going to be about 22%. Okay, and for the rate for our second pulverizer is going to be 2.67 kilohertz. Hold shift. There we go. And I'm also going to turn on spread. Now, after this, we're going to create 3 equalizers. So go to Studio Effects and create 3 separate M-class equalizers. I'm going to turn on low cut, parameter 1, parameter 2, and for parameter 1, we're going to set the frequency to 154 Hertz. Push the gain all the way down and the Q all the way up. We're only going to be selecting certain frequencies here. For our second parameter, we're going to set this to 77 Hertz. Gain down, Q all the way up. For our second equalizer, turn on low cut, parameter P1 and P2. So for P1, we're going to leave it almost in the middle. We're going to set it to 1.185 kilohertz. There we go. Gain down, Q all the way up. And P2, where it is in the middle, just push the gain all the way down and the Q all the way up. For our last equalizer, we're going to set our P1 frequency to 2.354 kilohertz. Gain down, Q all the way up. For our second P2, I'm going to set it to 4.64 kilohertz. 646, gain down, Q all the way up, and that should do it. After this, if you want to master it completely, go to Studio Effects and create a maximizer. Take off limiter, put release to auto, set soft clip on, and make sure the amount is 127. Now if you have a listen, you should have your Lieutenant Mouse synth. And there you guys have it. I'll see you again later today for another tutorial. This is a tutorial for Wednesday, even though it is now officially Thursday. And I'll check you guys out later. Namaste. Please leave likes and tell all your friends. Oh, and cheers.